Hola Familia. Hola, hola, hola. Yesi here.
This is Edith.
And this is another episode of LloronaPeroChingona. But first, chisme time.
Sorry, I'm just laughing right now because I heard myself talk and saying hi. The other day, I heard our producer, aka my brother, editing one of our videos. He kept on replaying me saying hi, guys, like 20 times. And I became annoying. So, how come nobody has told me that I'm annoying when I say hi, guys?
I don't think it's annoying, but when someone plays it 1,000 times to annoy you, I think that can be annoying.
So it's not me being rude because I obviously do want to say hi, but now I cannot stop saying hi without thinking about that video.
So are you just not gonna say hi to them anymore?
Hola. Anyways, yeah.
Hola. So you're just gonna say hola?
Comimos payaso hoy porque we're funny.
It's a magnesium, girl.
Oh,
what is that? A good transition.
What is that?
So it's
I know what magnesium is, but what do you?
It's on the. It's in the table of contents.
Nah, no shit.
I was looking through Instagram, and as you know, like I've been trying to stay away from like meds for depression. So I've been trying to combat it through like working out and like hanging out with you guys, which helps most of the time. And just like being out in the world sometimes, and like being outside. And so I saw that magnesium really helps with that. Now there's different types of magnesium that people take.
Yeah.
I'll have to send you or like post on there like what type of magnesium it's the one that I'm taking. But basically I saw that there's this video of the different types of magnesium. There's maybe like 10 of them. And they have different properties that will help you with different things. Like some of them will help you have a better quality of sleep. Some of them will help you go to the potty. Some of them will help you like boost your energy and your mood.
Potty. Sorry.
Boost your energy or your mood. And so I happened to first buy this type of magnesium at HEB. You know, here everything is better.
Right, HEB.
Just because I was like, you know, I was seeing a lot of those sleepy mocktails with like the cherry tart juice and stuff. So I was going to do it with that, but I accidentally bought the wrong one. And then I researched what this one for, and it's supposed to help you boost your mood and decrease symptoms of depression. So I started taking it, and let me tell you, I have been extra goofy.
Oh, we noticed.
Because I go through like really low days where I'm just like laying down and stuff. And then like on my high days, I'm like, La vida es hermosa. And it's just like bright and shiny and everything. And I'm just like singing and dancing in the kitchen. And that's what I've been doing recently. So I'm like, I think it's working.
Do you think, how long have you been taking it?
2 days.
But I was going to say, do you think it makes a difference? Like, so what I was going to say was like, maybe I can take it on my low days so that I don't feel too low.
Maybe.
Or like,
I have an extra bottle. I accidentally bought a second one.
Oh, I just want to try it. I mean, if you already see results in 2 days, then it's a miracle worker.
Thanks. Thanks, Edith.
Well,
yeah.
Other than magnesium, what have you been doing?
Well, I've been doing a lot of like wedding planning, and I gotta say, big shout out to the Lara family because oh my lordy, dude, Edith is taking over the invites. Her sister, our manager Annabelle, she is doing she's doing the cake and like the cupcakes. And by the way, her cakes are delicious. And then her tia is doing all the floral stuff. Well, one of her tias, like the ramos and doing the arreglos para la mesa, like all that shit. And then your other tia is doing the food.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can like start like a catering / like party planning business, dude. You're missing out.
We always get that. Like people always tells us that, but I joke around with my family. We're like, I don't think we're meant for business because no, like we're too nice. So we're not gonna wanna like.
And that's where Yesi steps in.
Yeah. It's just we just keep it in friends and family.
Yeah.
So you're lucky. You're a family / friend, but more family.
I'll take the family.
No,
One of your tias already said that was like her extra sobrina.
Yeah, she did say that.
And then I'm getting hugs from your niece.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm like a cool tia.
Oh my God, can we talk about that? We were in the living room. We were in the kitchen.
Mind you, this is Edith's one of her favorite nieces.
I don't have favorites.
Yeah, you
maybe.
do.
I don't have favorites. If you're listening out there, I don't have favorites. But I'm not gonna name this individual because for confidentiality. I'm just kidding. No. So this individual, mi sobrina, Ventra, right?
The prospect.
And she hugs her like she hugs me, and I'm like. Y luego ni me abraza a mí. That's where I was like, oh, hell no.
She just thinks
I got a little
dude.
jealous.
But I think this has to do with like knowing that like you have like a sobrina now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe feeling like this is my new person now.
Oh no. She was trying to get me jealous, right? Like this is how I feel when you hug your knees. Maybe. You got a point.
I don't know.
You got a point. But on another note, I'm pretty sure you guys have been following because you follow us on Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, then follow us on LloronaPeroChingonaPod on Insta. We've been doing weekend takeovers. So I have this weekend, which by the time this episode airs will be the past weekend. And I've been hearing really good feedbacks from it. People love it. And I love it too. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but I like it.
I always like love like seeing y'all post because we take turns. So like every like first Saturday of the month it's me, and then the second is Edith, and then it's Hando, and then it's Annabelle. So it's like nice to go on there and like see how we spend our days without each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like if you're a chismosa like me, you also get to see someone else's life for a moment. So I'm trying to get comfortable with it. This weekend will be my second weekend. So hopefully I can get more comfortable with that because it's hard.
It is hard.
Like it's really hard to try to take a picture of what you're doing.
Make it look cool.
And not only that, and also try to like, I hate taking videos of myself and talk and be like siento como que going back to hearing my own voice.
Yeah.
I don't like it. So it's just really hard.
I think I'm comfortable with the videos. It's like they just staying consistent with like posting and stuff because it does take a long time. I mean, I posted a picture of food, like not even like curtainized spaces, like a food, and it took me like 10 minutes to like upload the picture of the food with like what we each ordered and where, like 10 minutes. It's too much. And then like the rest of the day this past Saturday I like uploaded till like noon, and then we got home and I started cleaning, and I was like, well, that's out the door.
Yeah. I told Tote, my boyfriend, I was like, get ready for me to be the next influencer content creator and be taking pictures of everything. He's like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, oh, we'll get used to it. But with that being said, I think that content creator topic is connects a lot with our guest for today.
Yes.
We have a very special guest who does content creating on YouTube and Instagram. She has collaborated and is collaborating with a lot of big brands, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I love that she just kind of like shares with us like her process and how she like went from just doing videos to like now working with big brands. So I think it's an amazing listen.
Definitely.
sure.
We need to get tips from her, and hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So today we are very excited to have Lily Betzabe. You probably have seen her on Instagram or YouTube. She is a content creator that started with makeup videos on YouTube and now has over 30K followers on Instagram and over 66,000 subscribers on YouTube, and has collaborated with big brands that she will be sharing with us today. So, hi Lily.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you today. And how are you doing today?
Doing really good. I was thinking about coming here today and I was like, I'm so ready. I'm so excited to meet you. I already knew you, but so glad to see you again.
I'm so glad to see you again. So, a little background story. I met Lily in high school. We used to play softball together, so we clicked. We used to be practice buddies, so we used to and then from there I hit it off. And then now she is this huge content creator that we're really excited to have here today. And then when we were talking about who to bring to the podcast, I was like, Yesi, we need to bring Lily.
Yeah.
She would be such a great guest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is so nice.
Since the beginning, she's like, we need to get her in here. And I was like, well, let's do it, girl.
I'm honored to be here, honestly. I really love what you guys are doing. So I really like what you stand for. And I'm happy to be here. So ask away. I'm an open book.
All right, well, let's get it started. ¿De dónde vienes? ¿De dónde eres? ¿Cuáles son tus raíces, Lily?
Okay. So I was born in Mexico. Rio Grande, Zacatecas, Mexico. And I was brought here when I was 1 or 2 years old. Imagine being 24 years old with 2 little girls. My mom was 24. She had me and my older sister who was 2 years older. She brought us here for a better life. But imagine being 24. My dad was murdered and she decided to give us a brand new life and escape the violence. Mm-hmm. So we got here and she's like, what is this? Didn't speak English. She didn't know anything. Being 24 years old, now being 30, I'm like, how did you do that? Even back then when things were a little bit easier. So it became really hard for her, and then she decided to take me back and just keep my sister because 2 kids were a lot for her. So she took me back, and then 2 years later, before I turned 4, she brought me back again. So she did it again for me. Mm-hmm. She brought me again, and I started school here. So that's why I was raised here. And I say that I was raised here because I was, So yeah, I was born in Mexico, and I'm so happy that she gave me the opportunity to be here because she gave me so much, And it's our duty, and it's hard, and I know you guys know, to show them that their sacrifice was worth it, and that's what I try to do every single day.
Yeah, don't we know that?
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
And that's one of the things that we talk about here, about them mamás chingonas, that come to this country not knowing what to expect, what to adapting to
Anything.
everything. Yeah. Props to your mom.
Yeah, no, the hardest working lady I've ever met in my life. My hero, really, but I can talk about her all day, and she's my soft spot, but I see her growing and living life for the first time too, so I don't blame her for anything that she's ever done. Mm-hmm. And I'm so happy to say that she's working on getting her residency soon through my brother, because my brother's 21 and he's a citizen. And I love that for her. I've been helping her every step of the way, and she has her interview coming up soon, and that's gonna be the best thing ever. If she can live life a little bit easier, it just makes my heart so happy.
Oh, it makes my heart happy.
I'm gonna
too.
throw her a whole party and everything.
Oh yeah, I hope we're invited.
Las enchiladas.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I know sometimes it's really hard to talk about where we come from, especially where still to this day it's really hard, to share with other people.
Yeah. I've always shared it really because it's relatable, it's real, it's raw, it's my story. Mm-hmm. And I know other people have it a little bit different and harder, so if I can share it and it makes a difference in any sort of way,
Yeah. Which is super brave to do that.
Yeah, of course.
Zacatecana.
Yeah. So being first gen, we know that's a struggle, but how has that affected you through school and just life being, first generation Hispanic, a woman, a DACA recipient?
Yes. So much. So besides being the woman part, besides being Hispanic, add on DACA on there, being an immigrant, not having papers like that, it's just the cherry on top that made my life a little bit more difficult. But in a way, I've always seen things in a positive way. I've never let it like bring me down too much. It's just been a little extra harder for me. I don't know, I went to LASA, and that school was kind of getting all of the little brainiacs from every single school and putting them together. And I don't come from a background where my mom was always on me. Where's your homework? How many grades do you have? Like, it wasn't like that. It was just like, go to school because that's all you have. Do your best because that's all you have. So who was pushing myself? Me.
Yeah.
Nobody else was backing me up. No one was saying, are you top 10% today? No, you know? So right after high school, I went straight to college. I tried to finish, but I didn't. It's not that I didn't want to. It was more like life hit me and I had to work. I had to provide. And then Instagram came into my life, and I didn't have papers. So what do you do as an immigrant with no papers? You look for a job. You find a way para hacer dinero. So I was working at this health food store with no papers. And then Barack Obama comes up with DACA in 2012. And that's when I realized that's me. They're talking to me. I have to go do this. So that same month, I went straight to apply. I qualified because there were certain qualifications that were so strict. And to this day, they're really strict. So 800,000 people like me were accepted and they got approved. And so many of us got a whole new light into the world. Socials, driver's license. You know, it was amazing. So what do? I go straight to finding a new job, right? I worked a little random jobs here and there, but then I decided, what's going to bring my family money? What am I going to do with my life, right? So I was going to school still. I was taking 9 hours or so at the time of working that small job with no papers. And then I said, what's going to bring me money? What pays good right now? And at that time, I looked it up, and it was like banking, financial industry. So I was like, let me just try it. They loved me. They said, you have customer experience. Let's go. So that's where my banking world started. And they said, okay. And ever since then, I've been doing it because in a way, the type of person that I am is I love listening to your stories, and I love listening to where you come from too. I think that's why I share a lot. As a personal banker, like, you're telling me your life story with your finances, and it's like, I love that for you. I'm kind of like your little therapist, but let's talk about why this money's involved, right? So that's where my thing started. Take it back to 2012. Instagram becomes a thing, right? So then in 2024, it's a funny story how my Instagram started, because my niece was turning 3 at the time. And you know how we do presentaciones with the little dress, with the little girls?
Mm-hmm.
So my niece was turning 3, and then my sister had the beautiful little yellow dress. I still remember it. And then the weekend was happening. Her birthday party was that weekend. I decided to post it on my Instagram, her little cute dresses. It was super cute. She got so mad at me. She's like, why are you posting her dress? It's not even the party yet. So I was petty and she was petty, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to delete my Instagram. I'm never going to do anything with family. I'm not going to post anything with family. So what I do, I delete my Instagram. So then I said, I'm going to open a new one, not related to no family. It's just going to be me, post all my whatever I want. So I do that. That same month, I'm like, oh, what's happening here? So then I start doing my makeup. And makeup originated for me from dance team, because it was like game time, and it was like, let's do your makeup. I had a line of girls like, let me do me. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I loved it, I loved it ever since. So then going back to the Instagram, I start posting makeup, and I start posting contact lenses, and I start posting things about me, right? So I get a little obsessed with myself, but I do that. And then I'm walking through the door one day to my house, and then my phone just starts going beep, 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 beep. Instagram just starts going wild, and I'm like, what is this? What's happening? Did someone repost me? Because that was the thing back then. And then Anastasia had reposted one of my random little pictures that I hadn't even put effort into it. And I was like, what the? So I call all my family. I'm like, oh my God, I think someone reposted me. This is amazing. Like, my thing's going wild. And out of nowhere, my Instagram goes to 70,000. Wow. And I'm like, what's happening? What is this? Like, so many comments. Who are these people? Like, back then it was like wild, And I get so excited. I'm getting a little feeling back again right now just thinking about it. It was really cool. So then time passes by, and I'm like working the same thing, working my bank job, going to school, and making content. I don't know how I did it, because I didn't even have a computer. And then that's when YouTube comes in. They're like, hey, where's the makeup tutorial? How do you do this? Show us this. Where's your vlogs? What is this? I'm like, man, do I need a YouTube right now? Like, that's when I started my YouTube. But I didn't have a computer. The crazy part is that my friend, who was my really good friend in college, she was like, use my computer. So there you have me, going to school, editing between classes, going to work at night. And then when did I make the content? I don't even remember. Like, I can't even think of doing that now.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to make time for anything now. I'm like, what? So that's how that started. Sorry, I talk a lot.
It's okay.
No, that's what we brought you here. You talk.
La que habla no se calla, okay?
No, that's amazing. So whenever I guess you started with makeup tutorials and stuff, what was it like having those conversations like with your family?
Well, remember that 2015, 2016, people were posting and their families were following me, and I've never been the type to block my family for anything. So I'm like, I'm being me, I'm not hiding anything. My mom was like, when I lived with my mom, I started getting PR, I started getting makeup things. She's like, ¿por qué estás comprando tantas cosas? ¿Qué está pasando? No gastes tu dinero. Like, ma, es que no lo estoy comprando, me lo están mandando. She didn't understand that part of it, so that was a little hard because it would be packages after packages, like, otra vez. I didn't buy it. Like, I didn't know how to show her that it wasn't me. And then she got used to it over the time because I would get so much at one point that I would share it with her. She would take it to her friends. She would take it to her job. She's like, no tienes más? I'm like, yeah, here you go. So that was the only little hard part because all my other family has been so supportive. They share my stuff. They love my stuff. And it's really cool. They're supportive.
I love your stuff. I love watching. I admire people who, and we were talking about it earlier about taking the time to create what you're gonna create, especially with makeup. And she doesn't do like the simple, like, makeup. She does like Halloween makeup and other like kind of like cool crazy makeup, which is really cool. You mentioned a little bit about being a DACA recipient. How challenging has that been with being a content creator?
Super, because as a DACA recipient, we're legal in every sense of the way, except for you can't leave the U.S., you're kind of a little prisoner here. You can't bear arms, you can't vote, you can't receive any government assistance. So I'm legal in every other way, right? But it's not a permanent protection. You have to, we're hoping and dreaming, right? But we get tossed around a lot in the elections, like, oh, we're gonna push through a DREAM Act for you guys, but it's been years, it's been more than 10 years, It's been hard with my content because I can't travel. When I get invited to Hawaii, when I get invited to like other places that's not a U.S. territory, I can't go. I can't say, yeah, I'm ready to go, and I'm sorry, I can't go. So that's the sad part. But I still have hopes. No me agobia mucho porque yo sé que algo va a pasar. Yo sé que algo nos va a ayudar. For right now, it's a business. I've heard this week that the USCIS fees are going up. So that's not a surprise. Like, they bring the prices up all the time. And even now, everyone's going through such a hard time renewing their DACA, their anything really with USCIS because they're lagged up or they're so backed up that it's taking so long. And I myself suffered through that this past holiday season because I didn't have it. And I didn't work. I didn't go to my job for like 4 months. So that's hard. Like, if I didn't have other sources of income, how do other people do it? If I didn't have support, how do other people do it that are moms, that are the only provider? Like, I go back and think about my mom. Like, she's been doing it for so many years without her papers. Like, women are amazing.
They are. They really are. Getting the chills.
I love those chills.
I'm like getting like teary. Like, I know I'm a llorona and I cried earlier, pero man.
I'm training myself not to cry because I would have been bawling right now, but I've cried so much and I love crying. It's just that I don't get my message out if I'm crying. So I'm like, put the tears back, cry later.
I think you have a good point, like with DACA, and I'm sure with everything changing so consistently, and there's so much hate thrown at DACA recipients as well, and just like people who are here who don't have papers.
I remember,
and that must be very scary as well.
Scary, but at the same time like empowering, because one time I remember I had a conversation with my coworker who, U.S. citizen, güerita todo, right? She goes, I asked her, hey, can I ask you a question? It might get you in your feelings. And she goes, yeah, whatever. I told her, do you think that I'm taking the job, like of you, this other person? Do you think I'm taking her job? Is she more qualified or am I more qualified? She's like, dude, you're both qualified. It's just whoever gets it. I'm like, okay, cool. Because other people don't think that way. Other people think that I have a more advantage of her because I have this permit or whatever it is. She's like, no, it doesn't matter. So not everyone thinks that way, but it's definitely something that people go against. Why? I don't really know, because it's all a business. Like USCIS makes so much money from this right now. Just DACA itself, or it's a work permit really. It's like $500 to renew, and you have to renew it 6 months before, 3 to 5 months before. So you're really, and sometimes if you send it in, they'll accept it in a week or so. But sometimes it takes 6 months or 5 months. So you never know really when it's gonna go through. So if it goes in too early, you lose 5 months. So it's kind of like overlaps, and it's like you really don't have 2 years of a renewal. You have a year or a year and a half. So it's something I deal with, a lot of people deal with, and at one point it was 800,000 of us, but now it trickled down to like, I read somewhere today it was like 600,000 or so that have an active one, because either you let it expire for too long and it becomes a new one and then there's not accepting any new ones, or you lose it and you have to pay again to get a new one. Like it's so many little factors that you lose it, you lose it. So from 800 to 600,000, you got lawyers, you got doctors, you have so many high professionals that depend on this, that it's just wild to me that 12 years or more than 10 years ago, where were we 10 years ago? Like where would I be if this wasn't a thing, you know?
Yeah, that's a really big question, because I know that because of DACA, there's so many people who are, pleasant enough to be working legally here.
And it gives us a sense of a normal life in a way, but not really completely, because, for example, my brother, my sister, other people around me don't have to worry about this. I tell my brother all the time, you don't have to worry about what I have to worry about. He's like, no, I see it. Like, why am I being lazy and you have to work so hard for this? I'm like, yeah, exactly, dude. Ponte las pilas.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, you mentioned a little bit about what you do as content creator and now being a personal banker, but can you tell us a little bit more in detail about what you do, what inspired you to be where you're at today?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, back in 2014, Instagram blew up, and then at the same time I started working at my job, and I loved both, but it got to a point where I was working 40 hours and I was content creating the day I was off or the weekend. It got so hectic that I'm like, life also got in the way with like relationships, and you start to lose yourself a little bit in those aspects. So I dedicated myself mainly to work, and that's when I saw my Instagram kind of going down, and I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong? I'm not focusing, I'm not being consistent, and that kind of brings you down a little bit. You're like, maybe my content's not the best, my following is not following me anymore, but it's okay, because I provided for my family, I provided for myself. I've traveled so much in the US, and I lived my 20s really well. Like I don't regret what I went through. Like I tell my mom all the time, like, would you have rather me have 3, 4, 5 kids and like married and all this? She's like, no, I love what you've done, I love where you are. But she's the type of person that's like, pero necesitas más, the mentality of like, no, you need to be the best of the best. And it's like, it's hard to deal with too.
Yeah.
Do you think that puts a lot of pressure on you?
For sure. But at the same time, since she wasn't the type of mom to push me with my academics all the time, she's always said, lo que a ti te haga feliz, hazlo. No pienses en mí, hazlo para ti. And that's always like been so warming to me, because I'm like, thank you. Like, she has my back, but at the same time, whatever I decide to do, she's gonna love me no matter what.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that for her and me.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you go about because I'm sure, or I don't even know, but like with like friendships and stuff, how do you manage that as well? Because I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but like I've heard from other people, content creators, like people will try to get close to you for all of like all the stuff.
I can attest to that. or either they try to get close to you or they leave you. I can tell you a really good story about how I lost a friendship because it was a really good friendship. It was like child friendship. And then once I started content creating, it was a new thing for everybody, but just blowing up in a way. I remember this person tweeting something about me. I related it to me because there was nobody else that it could have been related to. That's when Twitter was kind of growing as well. I remember hitting 20,000 followers, and I was telling her, dude, 20,000 followers, this is amazing. Like, that means 20,000 people watch you, or like, they're liking my stuff. And then her reaction was kind of like, yeah, you know? So that hit me, and I was like, whoa, dude, you're not excited for me. But okay, thanks. So then time goes by, and I see this tweet, and the tweet goes, nowadays people glorify mediocre accomplishments. Like, who types that? Like, what are you referring to? It was like the same time that I told her that. And I was like, that hurts me. But okay. So our friendship kind of dismembered. Not just because of that, other stuff. I remember she was graduating college, and she had certain tickets to have people come to the graduation. And then she texts me out of nowhere during the same time that I had told her that great accomplishment of mine. She goes, since we're not as close enough anymore, I think it would be best that someone else goes in your spot. And I was like, okay, we're childhood friends, you know. That really hurt my feelings, and I said, okay, I hope the day's the best day ever, and, you know, que te vaya bien. And ever since then, it was never the same. So I don't want to say that social media or my content creating became a big issue, but it really, like, affected it, so.
I think that kind of goes to show, like, the people who really stand with you. Because sometimes, you know, it's, for some people, it can be hard to see others do better.
And sometimes friendships that end hurt more than other relationships. Like, best friend kind of relationships hurt a lot more.
That is true. And I feel like Yesi said, it definitely can be because, you know, a lot of people struggle with sharing the success of another person. And I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call it, right? But I feel like as a best friend, you know, either en los buenos y en las malas, right? Whether it was 20K, whether it was 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever it is. Like, you know, us that we're with the podcast, sometimes we like joke around, we're like gonna be like, oh yeah, next time we're gonna hit like 100K.
Manifestation. Yeah, say it and it'll happen.
It's just like having those, and maybe it was for the good.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like, you know, it hurts, like you said, it hurts to lose someone so important in your life that was part of your life for so many years. But maybe it was for the good. Maybe now you can have the people, like as you said, the people who wanna,
that really want to, are really happy, because after that I met the best people ever. My best friends that are now, that have been through the rest of the time. Like, I met the best people ever, and I can call them sisters at this point, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens when you accept that a door closes and other doors open for you. So
I've said it a couple of times in the podcast, but I'm a very big believer of things happen for a reason. So you being here today, who knows, maybe a lot of people are gonna learn from you who are probably trying to be content creators.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's a lot of people. Yo siempre dije que quería ser una actriz.
Really?
But it never happened.
There's still time.
yes,
I always said I'm gonna go to Televisa, be in a novela. It didn't happen, but maybe something I don't know. I'm just really shy. Now
really? I don't feel it.
Now thinking about it, I'm like, what was I thinking? Just getting off topic.
So how do you go about, like, I guess, finding inspiration for your makeup?
That's the hard one, because when you get on this like roller coaster of like, oh my god, this and that, or I get inspired by this person, but you have to make it your own because you can't be a copycat, you know. I think what helps me a lot is that I love being creative in general. Like, I'm really patient with things physically. Like, I can make something really small, and like I have patience for it. I think that helps me a lot, because I'll sit there and I'll just do makeup. And recently with like Halloween stuff, like, that's my jam. I love it. but since it takes up so much time, it's hard to like be consistent and do like a 30-day challenge of Halloween looks. Like that's super hard. But what motivates me is whenever it gets noticed and it gets likes and it gets like encouragement. For example, I recently did like a mummy, like a nun look, and a PR company paid me to do that look. And I was like, this is amazing. You get paid and you do art. Like,
That's
I love
awesome.
that. So that keeps me motivated. I'm like, maybe if I keep posting, it'll get out there more and people will want me to create for them. So that motivates me so much.
That's so cool. And I did see that.
Yeah.
Video. It was a pretty cool one.
Thanks.
So you should go watch it.
Oh.
So we're talking about careers. We're talking about a little bit of your life growing up, what you're currently doing, and all of that. Now it comes with the big question of what makes you a chingona and what makes you a llorona.
I was waiting for this question. I love it. I love your title, by the way. It's like such a catchy, like, yeah, let me see.
Thank you.
How did you come up with that?
I've been called a Llorona my whole life. I cry for
No seas Llorona, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I finally was able to kind of embrace it in my adult life. And I was like, you know what? It's badass that I cry. Whoever can't cry is, you know, like needs to do work on themselves or whatever is kind of the attitude that I took on. And I was like, I've been criticized a lot for this, and being my own self, you know, critical. What am I trying to say? like criticizing my own self is not going to take place anymore, and so that's how I kind of came up with it.
I love it. It's a good one. And I thought about it on the way here. I'm like, what makes me a llorona? Everything makes me a llorona, first of all, but I'm an empath, so I take in your emotions and I make them my own. And I have a funny story that I was a teller at one point, and I was helping this guy, and he was giving me money, and his neck started to hurt. He was like, and I was like, ¿Está bien? He goes, sí, sí. I thought he was gonna have a stroke or something. I was like, ¿Seguro? Because he was doing this and doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you okay? He's like, sí, sí, estoy bien. I literally started feeling the same pain.
Wow.
I started, like, it became physical, that I started feeling a physical pain. I'm like, I need to stop. I need to get away. And I told him, okay, well, if you're sure, I can call an ambulance. He's like, no, I'm okay. Like, at that point, I realized that I can make things happen with my brain if I take in your emotions so much. That's just why I'm an empath. But the reason why I think you have to be a llorona to be able to be a chingona. They go hand in hand. And something that I talked with my mom all the time is like, every time you fall, every time life hits you, you have to get back up. And I like to tell my friends, like, if you fall off the saddle, you have to get back up. Whether it's gonna take you a little bit of time, like, oh, let me assess the situation. Did I hurt myself? Am I okay? Can I get back up? Yes, I can. Or you're like, you just get back up immediately because you're like, I need to keep it moving. Seeing my mom have so many hardships and like overcome them, and telling me every day, párate, tú puedes, get up again. You know, that's what makes you a chingona. That's what makes you live. You know.
I love that.
It is. And I love hearing all of these. I feel like it's one of our bigger questions because every response is very different, but yet again very similar. But I feel like we all have a little bit of both in us.
Yeah.
Even if when you think you're not chingona, maybe that chingona part hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
But it will.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you gotta be a llorona first to get the chingona to come out. Because you're able to move past whatever emotion it is that you're feeling and kind of be like, okay, ya me siento más centered, so let's move forward.
And like you said, you have to cry. People that cry are powerful because you don't let it consume you. You kind of let it out. Something that someone told me is that crying is emotions coming out. Let them out. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I tell my brother all the time. My brother's 22 and he's a man, of course, but they're taught to like, oh, los niños no lloran. No llores porque eres niño. And I tell them, ever since he was little, I was like, you can cry with me, you can cry. And he does, and he lets it out. He's like, you're right. And I love that.
Like, yeah, you're right.
Doesn't matter. Those works out after. Yeah, I love that. So, do you have any advice for other first gens who are trying to make it out there, whether it's just making it out in life or becoming a content creator?
Yeah, for sure. I think we were talking earlier, but I love sharing my experience, sharing what I learned with the 18 to 25-year-old girls. Like, I love seeing how they have all the opportunities in the world. They have the world at their hands. And they're US citizens, first of all. They're beautiful, they're intelligent, and they have so much going for them. But I see them a lot of the times prioritizing other things, giving their power, their amazing time to other people, not giving it to themselves. So I always tell the girls that I know personally and the people that follow me and that see me, don't waste your time on things that aren't going to help you. If I can go back knowing what I know now when I was 18, 20, I would not put people in front of my needs. I would not put my all, my time, my money, everything to people that don't really appreciate or value it. Give it to yourself. And I know a lot of girls, I'm a mentor for Big Brothers Big Sisters with my little sister. I've seen how much my little words have impacted her, and she's like, yeah, because of you, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, and I love that for me, you know. And I love seeing that, and I just wish I can reach more girls and say, don't do this because this happens, you know, or like share my experience and say, give it to yourself. Don't give your power to a guy. Don't give your power to this job. Don't give your power that you have to create yourself and make yourself a better person. And enjoy them, you know, enjoy them.
I love that. I could have definitely, like, if I were to put myself back then, like, I would have loved having someone like you to kind of like.
And that's what I love. I tell myself, who I want to be is the big sister that I didn't have, or the sister that I wish I had. So be the person you wish you had.
Exactly.
And I love that.
You see, if I had someone like Lily, I probably would have been in the next novella.
You would have.
I would have already been like.
You know, the coolest, that just reminded me, the coolest thing I did was go to Despierta America with my friend. So my friend knew somebody there and we went there. And it was so cool to see behind the scenes, like action with the big cameras and like how they go, 1, 2, 3, ready? And they like act and then they're like, yeah, cool. I love seeing that, and that really motivated me to like be comfortable with the camera.
Yeah.
And it's just like, those experiences I wouldn't have had if I got married, had kids, or went off to a different college. Like, I wouldn't have met the right people to get me to experience these crazy things. Because now being 30 years old, I think it's such a different time that I'm like, I don't regret anything in my 20s. I love what I did. Of course, we all struggle with like, I wish I would have done more. I wish I known more. I wish I'm not where I want to be. But you have to think back of all you've done, all the things you've already accomplished, what you know now, and where you're going to go.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really excited for my 30s. I'm not scared.
And I feel like that's the purpose of this last question about advice, is because the way that I see advice is the advice that we give to people from our mistakes. Like, I went through this, so I'm telling you this because I've been through it, and I don't want you to go through the same thing that I did. And I want you to do better and be better because that's what I wish I would have done.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't see it. A lot of times people see advice as like a critical way of saying, haz esto, haz lo otro.
Right.
No, it's like,
I see that a lot with the people that I have close to me that are in their 20s, early 20s mainly. And I tell them, no, mira, haz esto porque esto. And they're like, but your times are different. I'm like, I'm not that old, first of all. But they catch me saying like, back in my day, or like when I was your age. And I'm like, oh man, I really sound like that now. But it's because I want more for you, because I see your potential and I see how much you have as an opportunity. Go for it, do it, grab it, because you don't want to spend your time and say, oh, I didn't try hard enough, or I didn't try that. And I know times are different. Like, after 2020, things kind of just went crazy. Not just inflation, but like people that are, for example, the people that I know that are like 18 to 25, they have it so hard that they don't know what they want in life. And they're like, yeah, but it was different in your times. Everything was different. Like, I talked to this one person and they were like, I don't think I'm going to make it to 30 if the world keeps getting this ugly. I'm like, that's so sad. Because when I was your age, I didn't think that way. I just thought, man, I want to keep doing these things. And I feel like the 18 to 25-year-old people, they've had to grow up so fast, and like they're speaking like they're older. And even if they haven't gone through these crazy situations like we have, it's like, why are you talking like this? You're not that old yet. You're maturing way too fast. We did too, for example, I had to grow up at 8 years old. My brother was born, and I had to take care of him. Like I had to take care of a little kid at 8 years old. Like that makes you mature, makes you grow up. But the generation that's coming up, I'm like, you guys aren't even that old. Enjoy it. Make mistakes, but do it in a smart way. Like listen to the older people. I love listening to older people. Like in my job, I talk to older, rich, and poor people, and I love it because they teach me so much. And I can sit there and listen to them all day. I'm like, why? Tell me more.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think for the most part, with like the youth, like more young adults, like 18 and 25, everything's just much more accessible in terms of like the world. Because I don't know about you guys, but like in college, I didn't really watch the news.
Oh, I didn't either.
So things are just a lot more out in the open. Yeah. But
That's my advice.
yeah, it's great advice. So what's next for you? What are your plans?
That's a good question. I don't know. I always ask this to people, and I always tell them, like, if someone gave you the book of your life and it was from beginning to end, would you read the book? And when I ask myself that, I would not read my book. I don't want to know. Even though I love surprises, like I love when people surprise me, I wouldn't read the book of my life. I don't want to know what's next. Like I just don't want to know. I want to know that I'm in control in a way, but at the same time, it goes back to like, do you think it's going the way you think, or is it all just looping around to how it's supposed to be? So is it already written? So that's kind of like my brain fart, but I don't even know. So that's my answer. I don't know where it's going, but I love that for me. For sure, I have hopes and dreams, right? Like traveling the world is what I would love to do. Showing my mom the world is what I would love to do. So yeah, live life. I'm still not married. I still don't have kids, and I'm in that generation of that, and I see that in all the millennials like me. And that's a whole other topic, right? But
Yeah, for sure.
see, I would love to talk about all this good stuff. This is why I kind of let you guys know what I'm working on, because I want that to be a safe space where they just come, we talk, and we just have a natural conversation about the cool, hard things that no one wants to talk about.
Exactly.
Do you want to share what?
Yeah, so I'm working on my own podcast, and I'm so excited to bring it out here and just have a safe space for me to talk about anything that I want, have my friends talk about anything that they want, and make it exciting and fun in a way where you just love listening to it, you know? You listen to it in your car, you're like, oh my God, you cry with us or whatever it is. So yeah, I'm in the works on that. I'm really excited about it, but as you guys know, it's so hard. It's so hard.
Do you know when it's gonna launch?
Hopefully this February.
Oh,
Yeah.
so soon.
Yeah, so if you guys want to tune in and just hear me blab about, I don't know what it is going to be, but yeah, let's do that. I'm excited about it. It's kind of like an escape for me in a way, because if you think about it, a lot of people escape in different ways. Like my therapist was saying that we regulate differently. You might regulate by alienating yourself and like canceling plans and being by yourself, but other people do drugs. They do other things. But I want to use my podcast as my way of expression, because these past 4 months that I didn't go to work, I didn't talk to random people, didn't see their faces and talk to them about their life, it really impacted me. I'm like, I need conversation. That's why I was so excited to be here, because I'm like, I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to talk about deep conversations.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my next step, and I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited for you. I can't wait to come
Me
in.
too. Me too. And we'll share so that everybody can tune in. I feel like we're all working together. So what better way to support each other?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like just because there's one podcast doesn't mean that there can be 10 other. We all have different purposes, and I feel like there's always room for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that, with content creating, as you will know, like there's so many content creators out there who want to be big, who want to make it big, and they can. Right? They can. And
it takes time, and it's a little like, how do you say cuando te desanimas porque it's not doing that well? Yeah, it's discouraging whenever you don't feel like it's going anywhere. But you forget the reason why you're doing it. Don't forget the reason why you want to do it. It makes you happy, it makes you regulate your nervous system, it makes you share good information with people. Like, why are you doing it? Remind yourself.
Yeah, creating connections.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
we love it.
So where can our followers find you?
Ooh. I'm like blanking. Well, all of my things are really pretty much my name. A lot of people ask me, how do you say it, or why is it Betzabe? Betzabe is my middle name. Lily Betzabe is pretty much my name everywhere. If you kind of just Google it, it comes out. Me creo mucho. But
I love it.
But I love that there's a following that hasn't stopped, because for so long, a good 2 years, I didn't do anything. I wasn't content creating at all. And the fact that there's still people from my very first beginnings that still follow me and that tell me, hey, where you been? I love that. I miss you. Where are you? Like, that warms my heart so much, and that motivates me so much. You have no idea. That makes me cry sometimes. I'm like, damn, if one person tells me that, but no, it's more people telling me that. I'm like, wow, I did make some type of impact. Whatever it is that you like about me, that really helps me and motivates me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's what I love about content creators.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that you, like you said, you create a safe space for yourself, but you also create a space for so many people who can relate with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I it amazes me how much social media has grown and how much of an impact can make to people. And I feel like not people just within the same state, city. We're talking
Worldwide.
about like worldwide, like people who are in another side of the country who are relating with you and be like, I know Lily, but I feel like I know her, but I don't know her personally.
Yeah.
Because I have sometimes like I'm on like content creators, I'm like, I feel like I know you.
Okay, bestie. I love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here.
No, we are so happy that you were able to join us, and we're excited to see where this podcast goes. And thank you guys for listening in, and thank you for listening to Lily's story. Hopefully we can bring her back again in the future, and so we can see where she's at, and she can share us more about I just feel like there's so many topics that one person can talk about. And we are so grateful that you were here today and share your experience and share your advice to people out there who are probably needed that little voice to say, "Tú sí puedes," so
Yes.
don't give up, or
Yes.
like all of these things.
Yeah, if I could round it all down to one thing, would be give your power that you're giving to others, give it to yourself.
Love
Just
it.
give it to yourself.
I love that.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Make sure that you follow Lily, you share this video. We're going to share her socials and everything in our description. And hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Thank you so much.
And remember,
Aquí sí lloramos.
I love that.